Hello. Today I'm going to tell you why I believe Trump hasn't got much more time left in office. I know I'm sticking my neck out, and probably I'll look very silly if he's still in office in a few months' time. I should look even stupider if he's still in office in 3 years' time. But nonetheless, I think it's quite possible that he's going to be gone by Christmas. And I'll give you 5 reasons why I believe this. The first reason is the Epstein files. Now, it seems almost certain there is incriminating evidence against Trump in these files. He seems extremely determined to obstruct their release. And yet at the same time, bits and pieces keep dribbling out. We had the birthday book the other day, which didn't look good for Trump at all. And then apparently today it was announced that Bloomberg News have got hold of 18,000 of Epstein's emails, and no doubt there's information in there which will be interesting. And then the victims are going to keep pressing, and the press is very interested and so on. So it's not going to go away, much as Trump would do anything possible, I think, to get rid of it. So I think if anything does come out as a result of this leaking of information that incriminates him, that would be the end of him. You know, if there's any suggestion that he was involved in underage sex, I would have thought that he couldn't survive that. Second reason why I think his days are numbered is his health doesn't seem to be good. He's getting quite doddery. He keeps falling asleep in meetings and so on. We've seen the pictures of his hands being all discoloured and so on, and about his swollen ankles, and people have all talked a lot about that. And at the 9/11 anniversary service the other day, he was seen half asleep, but with one side of his face drooping quite dramatically, as you can probably see in my thumbnail. And a lot of people thought that maybe that was a sign of a stroke. It seems to me unlikely, because if it had been, then I think he would have been rushed to hospital and it would have been dealt with very, very, very quickly. But nonetheless, he doesn't seem to be at all healthy. The stress he must be under, even for someone like him, must be absolutely immense. Third reason I think he's not going to last much longer is the fact that he's now becoming very unpopular. You know, his ratings are just, as the Americans always talk about it, they always say it's underwater, but I mean his are really, really doing badly. And you probably saw that demonstration in the restaurant he went to, the fish restaurant he went to, with several of his other ministers the other day, and how those women were all screaming and shouting at him. You might have seen him at the open tennis the other evening, where he was booed really by thousands of people in the crowd. He's very, very aware of the news. He always keeps up with the news. He's always apparently watching television news, and he can't be unaware of the fact that he's very, very unpopular. And this is a guy who just wants to be loved. He wants to be a hero. I think also a lot of his policies are making him very unpopular. I think these ICE raids are unsettling an awful lot of people. They're causing an awful lot of economic damage. And not only that, you get examples like that, the raid on the Hyundai factory a couple of weeks ago, where 400 and nearly 500 Korean workers, some of them hadn't got proper papers, but 400 and odd Korean workers working on a factory which is going to cost $6.7 billion to make batteries, where they were all rounded up by ICE agents. And not only were they rounded up, they weren't treated with any dignity whatsoever. They were actually, a lot of them were zip-tied, treated like criminals. The Koreans were absolutely furious and arranged for them all to be taken home and so on. I think at the same time they're probably trying to be diplomatic, and the only way you can deal with Trump really is to just say yes or no, so 3 bags full. So I think they're trying to patch things up, but it was a disgraceful display, and we're seeing so many examples of these ICE agents rounding people up and getting rid of them, and damaging the economy in the meantime. I think also people are very concerned about his relationship with Putin and how he seems to kowtow to him. I mean, we all saw when Putin arrived in Alaska the other day, and there's Trump waiting on the red carpet, waiting to clap Putin as he came off his plane. And you think, what sort of There's not another single person in the world he would behave like that to. Not a single person. And yet somehow with Putin, he never criticises Putin. He never, for example, when the Russians sent drones to Poland the other day, Trump didn't condemn it. And J.D. Vance, he said that there was no reason to continue to economically isolate Russia. In other words, they want to lift sanctions from Russia, make friends with them. This is the Russia that invaded a peaceful country, grabbed 20% of the territory, killed hundreds of thousands of people, has caused billions of pounds worth of damage or dollars worth of damage to towns and buildings and so on in Ukraine. And that's somebody he wants to make friends with. Somebody who will never criticise. He seems to be absolutely terrified of him. I don't think there's any doubt whatsoever that Putin has compromat on Trump. He has him in the palm of his hand. And that's a really bad situation. When the president of Russia is controlling the president of America. It's ridiculous. I mean, there was even an incident a couple of weeks ago whereby the Russians destroyed an American-owned factory in Ukraine. Trump didn't say a word. And then there's this business of sending these troops. They sent all these troops to San Francisco. There's no need to. Los Angeles, sorry. There's no need to. And now he's talking about sending troops to Chicago. There's no need to. The mayor of Chicago said we have no problem. We don't need any troops coming here to keep law and order. And Trump, he was in the Oval Office the other day, surrounded by his ministers and so on. And J.D. Vance was there, and he said, I'll quote him. He said, "The people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President," he's talking to J.D. Vance, "is people in Chicago, Mr. Vice President, are screaming for us to come. African-American ladies, beautiful ladies, are saying, 'Please, Mr. Trump, come to Chicago. I did great with the black vote. Chicago will be our next, and then we're going to help with New York.'" Well, you could be forgiven for thinking that he's sending all these troops into the major cities in order to set up infrastructure and to prepare them or to rehearse for when he declares martial law throughout America, which seems quite possible. And by doing this, he's just antagonising everybody. The citizens of Chicago, the citizens of Los Angeles, the citizens of New York are probably absolutely furious that the government is sending troops in to keep law and order when there's no really serious law and order problem. Fourth reason, I think, is that people are suffering a lot in America, and there's a massive cost of living crisis, which is made much worse because of his economic policies and his mad tariffs. But I think when they see him getting so rich and his friends becoming so much richer, when they hear that he's made $5 billion in the time that he's been president, and everybody else is being asked to make squeezes, and people haven't got medical cover very often now. Everything's getting more expensive, and they look at how well he's living and so on. I think people are beginning to resent that, and how he's able to spend public money flying that enormous jet to his different golf courses each weekend, costing an absolute fortune. I think people are beginning to think that's not really right fare. But the fifth reason, I think the main reason why I think he's going to be in really big trouble, is the collapsing economy. Manufacturing's not doing very well. All these factories that are supposed to be setting up all over America are supposed to be repatriated from different countries all over the world. It's not happening. Manufacturing jobs are actually down. Farming is in a terrible state because of the ICE activities and getting rid of all these casual workers, because a lot of the agricultural industry depended upon casual workers. And I saw an article earlier today saying that California farmers are saying that there's up to $2 billion worth of food rotting in the fields because they can't get anybody to pick it. They can't get people to pick it because they're not prepared to take the risk of being rounded up and thrown out. It said that grocery is up 40% this year. And in Texas, apparently they've got a huge problem with construction, where a lot of these casual workers were employed. And suffering worst of all are seniors, because as we found in the UK, you get all these casual workers. A lot of these people work in nursing homes, and so they've got a huge problem, apparently up to between 30 and 50% shortage of staff in many cases. And so this is all affecting more and more people, and as the tariffs bite, the prices are going to go on going up. And people are going to start losing their businesses because of the tariffs, and people are going to start losing their jobs and so on. And it can only get worse. And I think Trump must be beginning to realise this, but I don't see there's any way he can turn this around. But I think there's going to be so much anger and probably violence before very long. But I don't see how he can recover from this, and there's absolutely no way on earth he's going to last his full term. And as I say, I think he could well be out in a matter of a few months. But hey ho, we've got the state visit. We're going to honour him. He's going to be the first president ever to have received 2 state visits, and he'll be here all dressed up in his fancy clothes, and we'll be giving speeches as to what a wonderful man he is, and a wonderful state, and what an honour it is to have him come visit us, and so on. And all this because we wanted to get slightly less, lower tariffs than most countries. But anyway, that's what I think about it. Next week, I thought it would be so gloomy, but I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think Starmer's days are numbered as well. I don't think he's got a great future as Prime Minister. But anyway, if you watched this far, thank you very much indeed. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, and I really would appreciate it. And so until next time, thanks again, and bye for now.